Welcome to the weekend shift with the Strat Soldier. Thank you so much for being here. We have Alex Options on here. He's got a crazy schedule. He's in another time zone. And honestly, thank you so much, Alex, for being here. He's only 18 and a half. He should be in basic training, but he's in college. That's good for him. That's very good for him. And even, for some of the older viewers, just because he's 18, don't underestimate this guy. He knows what he's talking about, and he's got experience. I usually go over the broader averages real quick, and you really just get into what Alex does. I'm probably going to go ahead and just do that. Just get into Alex because he's short on time. How many people we got in the chat? We got a ton of people in here. John, Sunshine, Ray, JS, Anthony. How many people we got in the chat? What do you got here? Give me a number. Give me a number. Give me a number. Give me 100. Give me 100. Oh, yeah. The questions and everything is already starting, Alex. It is crazy. Let me go over the broader averages real fast. And then I'll let you get into it because we want to talk about what's been going on in the SPY, okay? All right, so you got your outside month on the SPY. Here are my charts. I got the monthly, the weekly, the daily, in the 60, okay? All right, a lot's been going on. That's right. A lot's been going on in the chat, Brad Wise. There's a lot's been going on. So here's a 3-3 on the month. Let me make that big. 3-3 on the month. I ain't never seen nothing like this. I've been trading Strat for a while. I've never seen a 3-3 on the month. So we'll see what's going on there. That's going to be pretty interesting. On the week, here's your weeks. All right, there's your broadening formation right there. All right, I'm sure you can see that. Let's scroll down here. Let's draw a broadening formation real quick, real fast. Bam, and then here back, real quick. There's your broadening formation, and man, I tell you what, it's been good. If you're a bull, you like buying things, it is good. You got your 2-2 reversal right here on the weekly. And it's been awesome. Let's go back to the dailies. Here's your dailies. Zoom that back out. They tested the top. They tested the bottom. All right, here's your hammer right here on the day right here. 2-2 reversal in force on this hammer right here, this day. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. The last day was a 3 outside bar to the down. So it's doji. It's doji, but it's red. And then here's your 60s for Friday. Oh, let's do this. Here's your 60s for Friday. Look at that. You can easily see that broadening formation on that day. Remember, it was an outside day, Friday. Let's draw it back. Easy stuff. The Strat. Welcome to the Strat. If you've never seen this, okay, there's only 3 ways anything can trade. Scenario. Where's my scenario one? Scenario right. One. Say again.
It was one of the green bar right after the red 2 up on the left.
Right. No.
Oh.
No.
You were right there.
Where you got it? You're already talking, Alex. Go ahead. Give me where's it at? Where's it at?
You're gonna have to scroll a little bit to the left.
Scroll to the left. Scroll to the left. Yeah, right here.
All right.
Yep. So there's your inside bar.
Okay.
Yep. There's your inside bar. All right. Scenario 1. Scenario 2 takes out one side to the top. Scenario 2 also takes out one side to the bottom. And then you got your scenario 3. Scenario 3, you're going to have to go back to the daily on that one because there's your outside bar. Scenario 3 right here. Bam. Takes out both sides. All right. So that's what's been going on in the SPY. It's been good for us. CarMax has been good for me. Ford's been real good. That's a real slow mover, but hey, it works. And I like trading stuff that works. Let's go back to, let's click this off, stop share, and go ahead and go into Alex. That's the broader averages real quick, down and dirty. So Alex, thank you so much for taking so much time out of your crazy hectic schedule. I just had to rush through that real quick so everybody is on the same page on what's going on. Go ahead, man. you're so popular. I don't know where to start. You do a lot of things too, and that's another thing why'd you want to hear. You do so much stuff, not just basic strat stuff. You use technical analysis. You use indicators. You use anything that people will, you use anything people use out there to help understand and communicate the strat to them, and I like that. So go ahead, man. Go ahead.
First of all, I just want to introduce myself. So I'm 19 actually, not 18 and a half. And 19 as of October 8th. So we're still young. But I started trading freshman year of high school. So I've been trading for over 4 years now. And I started on crypto before it was regulated. And that's kind of how I got into it. My dad actually let me get into it. So thank God for him. And then I found the strat about a year and a half ago. So just to get through that first. And then second of all, I need to share my screen, don't I? Let's get, there we go. Is the screen share working?
Oh yeah, I see it. Looks good.
All right. And then so first off, what did we want to go over exactly?
No. Don't you do that, because you already said you're 19. Okay. So I want you to just give me a little bit more background. I'd say crypto
a little more background. So
yeah,
I started with crypto, and then I knew that the COVID crisis was going to be this gigantic thing. So I actually took online school the last part of my junior year of high school and all of senior year. So I didn't have to deal with all of that. And so that gave me kind of the free time and the ability to pursue what I actually wanted to do, which turned out to be trading. And that's how I kind of started on Twitter and YouTube and everything else in between.
That's awesome. That's awesome, because I remember and this is going to sound, I remember your very first video, at least the one I remember. It was sometime early last year, and it was just like how to explain triangle layout. You know what I mean? Everybody calls them TTO now. And I remember sharing that, and then you kind of blew up after that. And then everybody just, started following you and stuff like that. I mean, what brought you to the strat? What, anything crazy in crypto that kind of brought you to it, or it just made sense?
So crypto was freshman year, and then I took a little bit of a break, and then it was more, it was like normal technical analysis, which I wasn't unsuccessful at, but I wouldn't say I was very great at. My returns were very slim with that. And what brought me to the strat was actually, it was just a random YouTube video that got recommended to me, and I kind of just like dove into it like I've done with everything since I was younger. And the strat, it kind of answered everything that I guess I was looking for. And the way I did it is I would turn on all of Rob's videos, and I'd just kind of have them on autoplay when I had my old job where I was actually delivering pizza. So I would just listen to that in the car every single day, and I'd work like 8-hour shifts. So hundreds and hundreds of hours of just listening to it until I kind of dove into it and was able to fully understand it, I guess.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Let me see here. Let me go back to where I was. All right, cool. That's what I'm talking about, man. There's so much going on. So what did you want to man, there's so much you do. Let's go back to that screen share. So let's see here. What happened to that screen share background? All right, there you go. Right there. Can yep, I see your screen. You see your screen?
I do not. I don't have it open because I only have one monitor here, sadly.
Oh.
If it's up, it's up. That's fine.
Yep. Man. All right. Good. So let's do it, man. There's so much basically what you do. On your Discord, you have a tab that says My Strategy, and that it puts everything together and makes sense, man. Let's go over that.
All right. So I would say the biggest question I always get is about trailing your stops and trying to stay in those winners. And for everyone that has been asking me that, it's like literally 20 people every single day, different people. What I actually do is I use an indicator on TradingView, and it's called ATR trailing stop. And I don't know how I'm going to butcher it. Sihun. I have no clue how to say it, but that's what I use. And for my settings, it's pretty simple. The fast period is 3, the multiplier, I keep it at 2, and the slow period 10 and 3 like it normally is. And you can see this just tries to keep you in. And the idea behind it is that if price makes an above average move, that is likely to be a reversal or some type of trend reversal, if that makes sense. And
Okay. Mhm.
what were you gonna say something?
No, I was just saying, yeah, that makes sense. So you're kind of like using this the way France did it in episode 5 with the SMA 9 SMA. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, but how would this be different than just using a 9 SMA?
So this is a little bit different, especially for people that have been trading for longer than trading the strats, so like trading with moving averages and stuff previously. It gives you a little bit more wiggle room, and that's kind of why I like this indicator specifically, because normally an ATR trail stop is going to be just one line. And just from the emotional aspect of it, if you have something that you believe is going to be signaling trend reversals and the price goes below it, normally you're like, oh crap, like I need to get out of my position. But since it's kind of a cloud, it makes it a little bit easier on my mental, at least, and keeps me into the positions longer, compared to like an SMA or something where there's not really a cloud at all. But there is like the Ripster EMA clouds or something, and I believe France does use that as well.
Okay, so these clouds, you're not so you said it keeps you in wiggle room. Let's go to the very last 2 down in that broadening formation. If you can zoom that in a little bit. So, yep, right there. So, is this green area at the bottom area that's part of that cloud you're talking about?
So the way that this indicator works specifically, this is the fast trail, like we're looking at in the settings there, and then the slow trail is down here, and the cloud is what fills in between. And the way that it signifies a trend reversal is closes below the cloud. And I don't know if I can get a good example of that. So you can see this was completely red all underneath, and then when this closed above, you're gonna see that turned green right there. And I don't actually use this on like the hourly chart that often, since I'm mostly day trading. I'll use it on like a 3-minute chart, and you can kind of see how that works here.
Okay. So, all right. So we're talking about using the ATR again, right? Correct.
Mm-hmm.
The ATR to get in on entries. Where would be where's an entry in on this?
Okay, so
to the upside.
I never use it for actual entries, and I tell people not to, because obviously any indicator that's going to be signifying trend is going to be a lagging indicator, right? So not something that I'm super interested in for entries solely because of that. But the way that I do use it is, I don't know if I have a good example off the top of my head. Let's see. I think we'll just use SPY. We'll go on like a 5-minute. All right, so let's say we're going 2 down, 2 down, 2 down, 2 down, and then 2 up reversal. So let's say if I were to take that long, you're gonna see this is still in a downtrend according to the indicator, but we know that we have this broadening formation, the outside days, etc. Right? So knowing that, if I were to take a long position, what I would do is I would go on to a lower time frame after taking my entry, and I would be using the trailing stop to keep me in that position, not using it as an entry signal. Because let me go back to the 5-minute quick. If we just plot where that entry would be right here, and go to a 3-minute, you're gonna see it's still not in a uptrend according to the indicator, but we'd get this huge upward move, right? And I would say SPY isn't that good of an example because we don't really have any trending days. But you can see if we were to take positions down here, it trails price to the upside, and you're getting in before this tells you that you have an uptrend, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now using your Alex options. So this is probably a dumb question, but are you using this with options or with common?
So what I do is I actually trail the price of the stock or the underlying, and I use options to capture the moves up or down.
Okay. So then when you're getting in on these options, are you watching, you say the underline, and you say that a lot. You're talking about the actual stock price, not necessarily the options contract.
So like if I was trading SPY, then I'd be trading the SPY options, but using the SPY price in order to gauge when I'm getting in and out if I were to be trailing my stop like this.
That makes sense. And you're using this for an exit though, right?
Yes. Yeah. Never for an entry.
It's for an exit. You guys hear that? For an exit. I got a question in here from question in the chat from, I think his name was Burke. He said, do you use this for longer term things, or just only short term? I know you do swing trading as well. Do you use the same kind of strategy for longer term things?
So for longer term things, I actually don't, just because if I were to like pull up like a daily chart, let's just do, I don't even know, we'll do like Bank of America. So with these settings, first of all, it's pretty wide. So if you're nailing the bottoms, then it can work. But if I were to be taking entries up here, you're going to see how far this trailing stop is. And personally, that's just too much risk for what I'm like willing to put on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I actually don't use it for longer term, only the shorter term. And for longer term, what I actually do is I'll just use time frame continuity. Normally, if the week is green and I have a longer term position in that, that's fine for me. And that's kind of what I use, because I don't really swing trade for super, super long term unless it's like an investment in my IRA or something. So hopefully that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, Burke. He's in the chat there. That's awesome, man. Very cool. And that makes sense. And so the ATR definitely helps you with exits on these options. And so with me, I trade common because I like to stop. I like to get in, set my stop, and I don't have to deal with slippage and all that other crazy stuff. And so with options, does it get you out pretty at a good area where it's profitable?
So
this ATR.
So that is the one thing that most people kind of complain about, is that you're not selling into high IV, and you're also not selling like on the offer, which depending on what you're trading, there could be like a 10% spread, which is a lot of money, especially with your position sizing and everything. And that's the one thing people that do not like about the way that I trade, at least. And I would say that being in for the larger move and not getting out early just to get that like extra 10% is going to be, at least over time, something that I found to be more profitable than kind of just selling out when you get like spikes into the highs, if that makes sense.
Yep. Show me, you got an example of that? Because that makes sense. What was a good trade in the Alex option? How much in the Discord? Anything good that you worked? I can show that same thing.
As of recent, let me think. I could just pull it up, maybe. Let's see it.
Oh, I feel like we're in the background of the Matrix right now. Hold on. We're waiting for that.
Oh, my computer actually doesn't let me search. So what I was trading recently was Netflix.
Oh yeah.
On this, I believe is this large day right here. Yeah. So let me just remove that. We can go to the daily and see what we're looking at here. So we traded Netflix off of this doji day. I actually did get in a little bit earlier, near the lows of the day, but we'll just look at it for the strat trigger. So we had our 2-2 reversal here on the daily over 637.40. And let me go to 3-minute. And you can see how the trailing stop is going to interact with price, or at least try to keep you in your position longer. And this is just a good example, just because price was moving aggressively, which is what we look for, obviously, if we're making trades. And that's kind of why I use the trailing stop for everything, especially when you get very aggressive moves and you can see the big green candles going up into this, right?
Right.
And you can see, I don't know. Yeah, no. So this is the 9 SMA. I can actually change that to be a little bit better. Yeah, so here's your 9 SMA if you're someone who follows a bit of France's stuff. And this is on the 3-minute, which is what I use the trailing stop on most. And you're going to see the 9 SMA hugs price a little bit closer, and the ATR trailing stop actually gives you a lot more room with the cloud. And this is actually where I took my profit when this flipped to red, and you're going to see.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, that's really good. I mean, I understand trading options is hard anyway. I mean, that's another thing I tell people. If you're brand new to the strat, you're brand new to trading, period, learn all that stuff before you don't just start buying calls and puts and all that stuff. And you know what I mean? And every, you don't do that. Use common, you know what I mean? Use common, but with this makes sense. So that your entry way down here at 637, and then you're waiting for this ATR to turn red, or you're actually looking for the
So
reversal back down.
okay, so for my position management, at least, what I do is when I take an entry, so like if I were to take the break 637.40, when I take the break of that, what I do is I'll take a normal size position, which is about 10 contracts for me currently, depending on the stock, obviously, because
Nice.
it could be it could be $30 or it could be like 3,000 if it's not right. So ideally around 10 contracts. And what I do is when I actually get the aggressive move off of the break of the pivot, normally the sorry, let me just take a sip of water quick. Normally the IV and everything spikes up, and that actually gives you a chance to sell on the offer and take an easy like 10, 15, 20%, depending on how big the move is. And you can see we have a big green candle after the trigger here. And I use that kind of to create my buffer of the position, because if I take 10 contracts and it spikes up to 30% or 10%, 15, again, it doesn't matter. Right here, what I can do is I can sell 2 of those. And then if I have a break even stop, or I can even go slightly below break even, because options have the theta decreasing, especially on Fridays and Thursdays, right?
Yeah.
What I can do is I can have a break even stop on the contract, or I can use the buffer and move my stop below break even, which will give me a little bit more wiggle room to keep myself in the position. Because again, if we get a huge spike, we have the aggressive bars and we won. That's what we look for.
Awesome. And then, so then you're okay. I see that buffer there. You're selling. So as soon as this thing goes, you're taking 2 off and you're paying yourself basically, right?
So just taking a little off just to make sure I can have a break even or a slight profit trade, because if it goes, we won. We can't.
I like that. And that also helps with your psychology too, because you're like, you know what I mean? You're not, I need to make all this money on 10 contracts. You're like, okay, I'm in, it worked. The initial break worked. I pay myself. I take 2 contracts off, leave the rest ride. And that, I think that would definitely help with people trying to figure out how to let their winners run. I did that with, you keep this here, don't move charts, but I did the same thing with CarMax. I got in a position, trained common, and then worked it all the way up until there was a reversal down, sold some, got stopped out on a portion, left the rest there, kept my stop back at the, keep my original stop, and then found a way to add to my position and then continue to work it. I'm still in that position now. So that I like that. I mean, it definitely helps with psychology too. Like I said, you're in a position, you take 2 off, let the rest ride, and then wait until this ATR flips way up there in the red. I mean, that's cool. So how accurate is that? Because how would you not I'm doing this because I'm on your screen, but this dip down here, you see you got the hammer, and then it goes 2 up, and then red 2 down, 2 down, 2 down, 2 down, even though the ATR is red. Here? How do you deal with that psychologically?
I'm lost on where the chart, or where on the
right
chart.
There. Your cursor is right where it needs to be. Left.
Over here.
Nope. Left. Okay. Yep. See this downtrend here? Yep.
Yeah.
How would you deal with that 2-2 reversal down psychologically? You're just looking at the green cloud and going, hey, the ATR is still green. I'm going to stay in this.
Yeah. So from all of my trading every single morning, the one thing that I learned that was the most helpful is that if they were buying it previously, they're likely to start buying it again. And you can see we got the biggest green candles after all of this, and price has to go down for it to go up. And that's just how the trends are going to go, which it's a mentality that you kind of have to adjust to, especially if you're new to trading or you're just very impatient, which I am an impatient person. So it was very hard to get good at this, but psychologically, as long as I'm making money, that's all that matters. And if it's paying me, then I want to let it keep paying me until my strategy tells me to get out, which you're going to see exactly why it didn't, and it worked pretty solidly in this example.
That's what I'm talking about here. Give me a second here. I have an issue with the plug here. Show us. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that the psychological is huge, man. That's huge. All right, go ahead.
I was gonna say, just to add to that, a lot of people, at least from my live streams, they're like, "How are you so like just stone cold, like you don't care?" And just when I'm taking positions and stuff, because I could have like 8 open at a time, and they're like, "What the like? How the hell are you doing that?"
Yeah,
And
how do you do that?
and it literally, it's once you have the experience and you understand that this can work and it does work, especially if you can just stick to your rules and just take the triggers, move your stops to wherever you do them, which for anyone that's wondering where to put the stops normally. So if I'm taking a 3-minute entry, this is the 3-minute candle that triggers the daily, and that's where my stop would go. And it's literally just, if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There's nothing to worry about. And if it does go, you just trail your stop. And once that turns red, you're out.
So, okay. So you're using trailing stops or using, or are you using stop limits? I'm sure you said trailing stops. I mean,
so with options, I'd still base everything off of the stock price. And a lot of people are like, what the hell? And the reason I do that is like, seriously, no, all the time.
This is a family show.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're okay. You're 19 in one day, and you just learned that word. Go ahead.
Yeah. Today.
Yeah.
HC double hockey stick. But anyways, so everyone always wonders why I put it on the underlying, and my mentality behind that is the underlying is what is going to be moving the contract price. And you obviously have theta and IV and everything else that can affect it. But at the end of the day, when price is going up, it's going to be paying you. And if it's not going up, you're going to start losing money. So you can put it on the underlying, and let's say this triggers right here. It spikes up to about 10 to 15% gain. When this red candle comes down, depending on the liquidity of the option you're trading, how many people are trading it, the market makers, everything, the price of the option could spike completely down to under where you entered. And even though this is still above your trigger, you could be kicked out of your position, which why would I want to get kicked out of something that's working?
Right.
Kind of what I think when I'm looking at that.
Yeah. So then that's a huge, man, that's huge. I'm glad you said that, because trading options, like I said, trading options, you get a spike down like that, and you look at the contract, and this thing's down 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like trading options on SPY. Go trade options on SPY. That thing goes 20 cents up, 20 cents down.
No, SPX options are where the money's at.
Yeah, and to psychologically think about, okay, I'm 20, I'm $20 down from my, or whatever it is, how many contracts you have, $20 down from my entry, and then times that by the contracts I have. I mean, that psychologically, that could be, what I mean? Like,
yes, very, very tough. And I'd say that's one of the hardest things with trying to day trade options, especially if you're trying to trade weeklies. And that's the one thing that I would say being young has been helpful with, because when I first got into it, like the only thing I would trade was weeklies, and I guess I got like accustomed to them or used to them. So the mental like drawdown when anything like that occurs is not much at all, if any.
That's awesome, man. I got a question in the chat. What happens when your stops are not filled?
So what I actually use is stop market orders, and I don't know if Thinkorswim open, but you're able to set stop market orders based on the underlying price in Thinkorswim. I'm unsure about other brokers, but the mentality there, I believe, what's the Benzinga guy's name? He was
Ryan Faluga.
I believe it was him who said it first. It was either him or Jake, but they said they're talking about different types of orders, and it's like a limit order guarantees you a price and a market order guarantees you a fill. So if this isn't working and it comes and hits my stop here, then I don't care about the price. I want to get out. I want to get my fill. So I use stop market orders on all of my positions.
Show me that if you can. Show me that on something that didn't work. Like we always talk about on Twitter. We talk about tight stops. Okay, we talk about something that we get in on. Me and you joked around about this too. I mean, keep going. I'm kind of small talking you while you're getting it together. because we talk about this all the time, and me and you joked about this too. People learn the strat. People learn about a 2-1-2 reversal or a 3-2 3-1-2 reversal, and they think they can throw 500 contracts on something and it's supposed to like immediately be magical. And what we do is put things in. We go for the most high things that have the most high probability, and we're not magicians or something like that. You know what I mean? We're not. It feels like it, but we're not. We're not. So if you can show me something that necessarily you got stopped out on, you know what I mean? I took a reversal, this thing, chop shop or something. I don't know. Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
The funny thing here is the only thing I can recall on Friday is not getting stopped out of anything. I'm no, like actually, I'm unsure of what I traded that I got stopped out on at least this past week. It's gonna be hard to find a good example. Let me see. Because Friday was just nuts.
Friday. This whole week has been great. Like I like to say, Spy got his attitude together because it was a mess. It was up and down and all kind of craziness.
Yeah,
and these gap ups and gap downs are messing up positions and or at least trade ideas and things like that. And man, just give me an example of one that would stop you out. I don't know. If you because you're pretty good at what you do, so
this is an example, not one that would stop me out for a complete loss, but a good example of why I take a small amount of profit when the trade works. So you're gonna see Visa. I don't know if for people that are new, this sets up your hammer day. So opened up here, traded all the way down, and then closed at the highs.
Yeah.
And what I personally look for when I'm trying to trade hammer days is where we have this consolidation towards the end of the day, right under those highs. Mm-hmm. And you're gonna see it triggered the hammer day to the upside, took out some pivots up here. Let's see, I took out that, and and then traded back to the downside, and it did that insanely quickly. I'm unsure if it was like a news release or just something occurred, but you're gonna see this was the candle that triggered it. Mm-hmm. And according to my stop losses and stuff, my stop for my position when I take it is going to go right here. Mm-hmm. And you're going to see we get large volume, huge candle. This is where I take off a couple of contracts, about 10, 20% of my whole position that I take.
Wow.
And that's going to, again, give me that buffer that I'm looking for. So if price were to trade back down here and stop me out of the rest of it, ideally, I wouldn't be taking a loss. It would be a small gain or just break even at the end of the day.
Nice.
That's pretty much exactly what happened. It traded a little bit higher. And this is a good example of why we want to use break even stops. And this isn't something that I talked about previously, but there's a lot of different stop losses that I use. So when I take a position, I have a stop market order at the low of the candle that triggers it. And we use the ATR trailing stop to hold the position into the trend ideally. And then once it works for me, because from here all the way up to here, it was about 60 to 40% gain. Once I'm hitting those numbers, I want to make sure that I do not lose money. And that's where the break-even stops on the option price come in. And I will put those on and let the trailing stop go. And the nice thing about TradingView is you can add alerts on these. So I could literally take my position, walk away from my computer, add an alert, and I'll get a text to my phone. And it'll just tell me to get out of my option if the trend is telling me to do that, right? Mm-hmm. And so that is going to be kind of how I manage those. And this, you could call it a loser, but it was, I think I took like 5% on my whole position for a gain. So that's an example of a loser that I can at least recall.
I mean, that's still, but I like it though. I mean, because yeah, it's a loser, but you got stopped out on it. I wouldn't say loser. You just got stopped out on it, but you still, that big green bar up, you're paying yourself. You're taking some of your position off, making a gain. Okay. That feels, definitely psychological. That feels good for you. And then the rest of it, you still have a small position on if this thing runs, and then it didn't, you get stopped out, you're fine. Everything's fine. You're not necessarily sitting there going, I lost, $200 on this. You didn't wait for this thing to go to reverse all the way back down to the downside and wait for the ATR to turn red.
Yeah, no, I mean? Exactly. And a lot of people, when they first start training the strat, they just hate cutting losers for some reason.
Yeah.
It's the most aggravating thing I think I could ever think of, because it's like, why are you gonna sit there and lose money? Like, why would you ever want to do that?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I got a question from Neat K. He says, "Are you using trading analytics, analog flow for picking a stock?"
Trading analytics. What exactly does he mean by that?
Yeah, I'll go flow. I don't know. Dang, dang.
Like tradie ticks, like all of their
Tradie ticks. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. There it
okay.
is.
So as of now, because I've moved to college and I had to kind of put everything on pause, I haven't been paying attention to any like flow stuff. The only thing I would say that I do use sometimes, it isn't even like a program or anything. I follow a guy named I think it's Dark Pool Charts on Twitter. I might tweet him out and just at him after this.
Yeah, do it.
And uh he has, it's like divergences and stuff for like hedge funds and dark pool prints and stuff like that. And I wouldn't say I use it, but I definitely give it some weight. And it's just something that I look at. It's like if I see him posting about it, I'll go look. And if there's a strat set up, then that's probably something I want to just be looking at for the future. And I'd say that's like kind of the only thing that I really use.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. Tradie ticks. He's in there. He's in the chat fixing that for me. Yeah, tradie ticks. You got it. But yeah, going back to I run. I'll get in your. You guys allowed me to get in there and help ask questions, at least for basic strat stuff on your Discord. And you're right. People get in there and they're just like, I read Alex's strategy thing. I understand the ATR. This thing is green. It reversed up. And it's green until that 2-tip reversal down, and I waited for my ATR to turn red. And now, but they waited all the way until all the way down past their entry, way down in this I don't know, this valley way down here, to do anything about it. And cut your losers. That's it. There's nothing, especially with options.
Yeah, no, 100%, because a good day can turn into a bad day in 3 seconds if you're not cutting your losers.
Yeah.
I've had it happen.
Suckers. Yeah, cut them. And someone in Twitter, tried to give me this big long spiel about ratios and 3-to-1. You got to have multipliers and things like that. Yeah, you're right. But the first skill to learn with the strat is how to cut your losers and cut them fast.
Yes,
just cut it. Follow. And I like what you said before. And I said this on a couple other weekend shifts. Follow your own rules. If you have a rule that says, I am not going to cut this thing until, or you have a rule that says, I'm going to pay myself after this, once the trade starts working, I'm going to take some off. And then once the ATR turns red, I'm going to cut the rest. Like you said, stop even, break even stops and things like that. If those are your rules, follow them. There's no way to wreck your confidence in a trade as a trader in confidence in yourself, period, is breaking your own rules. How many times have we seen that?
No, I totally agree. And sometimes the times that I actually used to, because I don't think I've broken a rule in months, to be completely honest. When I used to, those would be the worst days, because that's when all the emotions come out too. And
yeah,
a lot of people, again, like I said earlier, they're like, how are you just so stone cold? And following all of my rules and just understanding that statistically it's going to work out, that's the biggest thing that you need to at least focus on, or have like an understanding of when you get into trading, or at least throughout your journey.
Yeah, I like it, man. That's fantastic. I thought this this episode, I was wanting to concentrate on some other things, your method. But I mean, honestly, your method and psychology is probably going to be the biggest takeaway from this thing, especially being so young. And I'm going to say it. I think it's awesome that you stick to your rules, and that you have experience. You know what I mean? But that experience backs up backs up your rules. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's huge, man. That's huge. I love that. So lottos, one more thing, lottos. I know you're short on time. You're looking at the clock. Lottos. I don't play lottos. Rob Smith likes to talk about cheapo options Friday and lottos.
Yep.
And you guys do a lot of good things with that. Show us lottos real quick if you can.
So first off, with my position management strategy, I don't really look at Fridays any different. The only thing that I do differently, kind of subconsciously, is just size down a little bit, especially when I have like a gigantic list going into Friday. But what I do is I wouldn't say it's not strat, but I would say that it's a little bit more like feel type of thing, at least for setting up my lottos. And a lot of the time I do use strat scans and stuff, but I like to look at the lower time frames and see kind of what's going on in there, like we were talking about before on Visa, where you set up your hammered day. You set up your hammer day where big sell off, and then you have a consolidation near the highs. That's exactly like the type of thing I'd be looking for. Just some type of tighter consolidation on the lower time frame, which if you go on like a 4-hour chart, all that's going to be is inside 4 hours. So it's something you can scan for. And that I'd say that's like the whole idea of at least of what I look for. And you're going to see something like Baba where price pretty much just gets stuck and consolidates in this area. So it's like, I want to take a break to the highs, and you're going to be targeting those obvious pivots, which you're going to see you could have just sold the top.
Yeah.
Sadly, this wasn't one that I actually got in. I believe it was one that a couple people in the Discord got off of, we call out this Doji 15er. And I don't know, that's for lottos, that's like my whole mentality. And one thing that we haven't touched on, we have a little bit of time, is picking options, because people always ask about that. So my mentality when it comes to picking options is going to be the cheapest way to get in the money if I'm going to be trying to ride the larger move. And the reason I do it like this is because my position management strategy, one thing I aim for is to have free runners, because that is going to be honestly one of the biggest things, at least if you're trying to grow an account. Or sorry, let me just take a sip of water.
No, man, that's good. It's talking to strat is exciting, and it's easy to talk. It's easy to get in here and just, because we do it, you know what I mean? And you have experience in that, and it's very visual too. It's very hard to sit here and, especially to talk it all out. You know what I mean? If this was a podcast, it would be really difficult to show everybody what we're doing.
100%.
It's visual, man. So yeah, I understand, taking that drink of water, man, because it's easy to just keep going.
Oh yeah, there is nights where I'd probably spend like 4 hours straight just trying to get a video right, and it was horrible.
But yeah. So picking lottos, you're picking something that it's got to go. Like this thing it's either it's going to work or it's going to go straight to zero and close out as nothing, right?
Exactly. And that's why I like the way that I manage my positions, because, or not even the way that I manage it, but the way that I have my stop set up. And a lot of people, it's like, okay, you're going to see this hit that call trigger, which this was the one that I posted on Twitter, and you're going to see how wide this is. So when I go to actually take a position, this isn't just specific to Lotto Friday, it's like everything. When I go to take a position, if I look at that, I'm like, holy crap, that's way too much risk. Then it's likely to triangle day out and give me a better entry long, which you're going to see, you could be risking all of that. Or I don't know if it could be this candle. Again, I didn't get to trade this, sadly. It was one that I posted. It could be this candle, or it could be the second candle here. You're going to see that risk is so much smaller. And that's definitely something that I look for. And again, not only specific to Lotto Friday, just in general.
So are you picking, I got a question in chat. Are you picking your lottos? Are you buying your lottos on Thursday night or Thursday, like before the close? Are you getting them as soon as the bell rings on Friday?
The only time I'll go Thursday before the close is if it's going to be something that has a larger time frame magnitude, because we know that daily candles are only going to be relevant for that day, right?
Right.
So if we have like a potential, like something like SPY, this is something that I traded in my IRA. If we go to the day, or we'll go to the month, you had noted this earlier. This is something, so here. So this is something we called out on Twitter, at least a couple of the strategers did. We called out the outside month occurring here, the second that went red, and again, called it out again and said, if they did it once, they're likely to do it again.
They're likely to do it again.
Now we're back at all-time highs. So let me just hide this stuff. So like something like a monthly chart or a weekly chart, if that's going to be green and going towards magnitude, especially outside bars, I love trading them, just because you get the guaranteed broadening formation.
That's right.
And and So the only time I'll take anything on Thursday is if we have the weekly or monthly going in the direction that I'm looking for, and if the daily has an actionable signal at the close, which if you're in my Discord, you would have seen previously the scanners and stuff, they'd scan about 15 minutes before close. And that's exactly why. There was so like something like Visa, if we go to the one day, you're gonna see, first of all, you have time frame continuity. And second, this closed as a hammer day. So like that's something where it's like, okay, I might want to swing that into Friday, because a lot of times, especially with like China stocks, they didn't do it recently, but they like to gap a lot, right?
Yeah.
So anything that has like history of gapping, normally those are what I'm gonna want to try and swing into the Friday, if anything. But with my position management and stuff, I keep those sizes really small because I want to add to it if it's a winner. I don't want to risk everything on a potential loser.
That's good, because Burke's got a question here in the chat. Where do you add on your winners?
So where do I add? So let me pull up Netflix. So Netflix was one that I got, I believe it was 2 ads on. Yeah, so first off, this was the Netflix trigger right here. And this is a 15-minute chart. When I add, ideally, you would want to be adding when you get a downward move, and then you can get the reversals back up. But sometimes, especially on things like Netflix or anything that has a huge history of running really hard and fast, just taking breaks into the highs, which you're going to see, here's your inside 15er. This was my ad.
Okay.
So you see stop. This is where I'd add to it, just because you get the inside bar ad as what was it? Way the master calls it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, and then what I really like to pay attention to is the outside bars. I had to go to class after I took the ad into the high. So I didn't get this, but we were talking about outside bars before it happened, and you're gonna see here's your outside bar here.
Yep.
And normally you can take it on the break, but since we know outside bars are a broadening formation for sure,
right.
I don't know if I can get back down to it. So you're gonna see it did work here, but since we know that outside bars are gonna be a broadening formation for sure, normally I don't like taking the break because you're buying the breakouts, which is likely to get you kind of killed most of the time, especially if it's not a stock that runs all the time, then I'm not going to be that confident in it. But what I'll take 3 twos, which if we go on the 15er again.
I love 3 twos.
Yeah.
Sarah's not a big fan of 3 twos, but I love 3 twos. Just 3 twos, just because, just based on the color. You got a big 3 green up or down. There you go. There's your 3 scenario 3. It's green. I know they're buying this thing. I know where the barriers are.
Mm-hmm.
And if it goes scenario 2 up, 3 2 to upside, I'm in that.
All right. So I got about 10 more minutes.
Yeah, so do I.
Oh, okay.
So do I.
Okay,
So
I might have to cut it short, but there's one thing I want to get to first.
All right, do it.
I just need to respond to my mom quick. Family day. Okay.
That's classic.
No, they're coming up to visit, but
yeah.
So threes. The reason I like it so much, I post it on Twitter all the freaking time. They show aggression, and my favorite thing to show when talking about threes is going to be Tesla. That's a good example. So
Tesla on the year.
Outside bar 3 aggression hammer candle. So there's your actionable signal, and you're gonna see there's your 3-2 goes from $87 to 800 just about.
And that was before this. That's before the split. Before the split, that sucker was like $1,500.
Oh yeah,
something stupid. Yeah, I'm like, I can't trade this. I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, no, that. I don't know if that's a good example of maybe.
No, that's a fantastic example, because that's a 3-2 to the upside, and that's on the year. People are talking about Birkin here talking about we're only day traders. Not necessarily. I mean, that's right there on Tesla. That's a good example of getting in on a small position, even though this is before the split, these numbers. You get in on a small position, you work that for the entire year. You go back to your yearly, no matter what's going on the days, you know what I mean? You still got, you'll still have threes to the downside on days and things like that, or weeks. But if you just get in and look at your small position, look at the charts on the year and go, this is still good on the year. This is still above my entry, and just keep working it and adding to it. Honestly, I think the easiest way to do that is with common. And just keep working it and adding to it and working it all the way up. I mean, and it never comes down near your stop at all. I mean, that's how you build portfolios. I mean, that's
Oh,
awesome right
100%.
there, man.
Yeah,
That's a
no,
great example.
my favorite thing, we're cutting it close, but my favorite thing to do, especially with long-term stuff, I don't talk about it too much just because it's not something that I focus on. At least I don't think I'm the best at it, but we're doing decent. And one thing I focus on the most with long-term stuff is the big broadening formations. Like, I don't have a good example to pull up right now, but like the very large ones, like this is CCL on the monthly. We can do a quarterly chart. The big broadening formations, we can go to NVAX and you're going to see exactly that.
There you go.
So these things that just have gigantic magnitudes, those are what I personally focus on the most, especially because, I mean, if you can get it at $6, then
yeah,
if you can get it at $6, it goes to 300. You have
that's amazing,
right?
That's amazing. And small position, and we're not telling you. Alex is not telling you. Rob's not telling you to get in here and throw 500 shares on something at $6. You know what I mean? Start at a small position and work it up, man. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Hey, Alex, I know you got things to do. Hey, thank you so much for being here. Tell us about your Discord real fast.
All right. So my Discord, I just changed it. I have it linked in my Twitter bio, at Alex's Options, no space or anything. And pretty much all we do, it's a group of guys that are pretty chill. There's a couple of girls in there too. They're really chill. They're super funny. They have tons of great trade ideas every day, and they're always trading. So if you would like to join that, you can go to my Twitter and join that there.
Yep. And like I said at the beginning of this, you guys do a lot of different things. They do show technical analysis. They do show, trading indicators. I got one, what's the old guy in there? I think his name is old. What's his name?
He's Mean Old Man, but everyone.
That's it. Mean Old Man. I love him because he's always got something good to say, but then he'll get on there and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, this is not strat charts," and then he'll show something that's crazy, but then he'll tell us the reason why.
Yeah, no,
you can always take that and translate it to how we do it, and it makes sense. I mean, honestly, I was talking to Xavier with Real Juicy Trades. It's the same battle. We're just using different weapons, man. It's the same 100% battle.
If it's not strat, it's not gonna make you money. To be honest.
That's right.
It can't not.
It can't not. Thank you so much, Alex. I'm gonna let you go, man. Thank you so much. You're amazing, man. I appreciate it. Hey, you heard it. That's Alex Options, man. We went through a lot real quick, and he's got a lot more. So hopefully we can do a part 2. Hopefully. If you want to join us, all right, in the room with Rob. Alex is going to show you. He's going to he's going to send out his tweets so you can get in there with Alex. But if you want to get in there with Rob, there's a deal, and it's going to end this month. It's ending in a week. Okay, it's ending in a week. It is $99 per month for 6 months. Okay, with Rob. Just type in the Strat Soldier when you sign up, when you register. Strat Soldier, no spaces. That's going to give you the rest of this quarter and the start of next quarter with Rob, and someone directing you through all this stuff. You got 3-3 on the month. I've never traded a 3-3 on the month on the SPY before. Who's going to show me and get me through it? Rob Smith. Okay. I take weekly trades. I take monthly trades. People see me in the chat. People see me. I'm out there with you guys too. Okay. And when everybody's running and working with DWAC and all these crazy things, I'm in there posting, hey, I got in on Carmex. That's on the weekly vid. Hey, I got in on Ford. That's been hammering for us on the macro vid all year. You know what I mean? I am, you're working with Rob, you're working with me, you're working with other people in there. You got a great trader in there, Lauren, and also the new traders who joined up that are helping the brand new traders. Okay. $99 for the first 6 months. Get in there with Rob. You also get 24 power hours with Rob. That's 1 hour after the close. You get to work with Rob one-on-one. If you are in there with Rob, talk to Rob, make him work. Okay. Make him work. 31 years in the business. Okay. You're not going to give him something that is, you're not going to stump the chump. Okay. You're not. Okay. He's going to tell you, this is why this is going to work. Or, hey, I don't think you should take this trade. let's look at this one over here. Okay. Hey, you're brand new here. I don't think you should be getting in on DWAC. Okay. We call it DWAC all week. I don't think you should be getting in on DWAC. I think you should take this one over here. This makes more sense. You have more actionable signals on the quarterly, the monthly, the weekly to work with, you know what I mean? As opposed to something that's brand new out the chute, you know what I mean? So get in there with Rob. You can also email him questions at rob@smithsandtheblack.com. If you can't make it to the power hours, get in there, make him work, ask him questions. He will answer them. And I'm saying this specifically for a couple guys, okay? A couple traders. Talk to Rob, okay? Talk to him. He's not gonna make fun of you. He's not gonna, why would you do this? He's not gonna embarrass you, okay? You're working with someone that is on your side, okay? And he's gonna help you keep your stops tight so you don't get killed. You heard Alex say it, you heard me say it. The first skill in the strat is learning how to not get killed, all right? Other trading systems say it's okay to lose $500 in a day. Hey, it's $500. Not us. Nope. Not us. Cut it. It ain't working. Cut it. You know what I mean? And Rob's going to tell you. You talk to Rob and other people in the chat. They will help you as well. And then I don't ramble. Once you start up for the brand new guys on the monthlies, if you don't have the course yet with Rob, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You will get there. Okay. Get the course. What I'm saying is there is a how-to course that I developed, how to use Rob Smith's in the Black. And that's going to help you understand the language that we're using to get you up to speed so that when you do get the course with Rob, you know where to go and you know how he's talking, you know how fast things can be, but you also know when to use all the videos that he's putting out and all the content. All right. Get in there and use that. If you're brand new on the stream, brand new to the live trading room as well, get in there and use that. Okay. If you watched my episode 7, I'm telling people, hey, I'm not doing anything until the very first 15 minutes. Okay. Rob tells you all the time, let them open. Okay. We're never going to tell you just jump in and start smashing buttons at the bell. Not us. Okay. Work with Rob. Again, that's ending that this month. The promo Strat Soldier, $99 a month for 6 months. That's ending in a week. Okay. Get with Rob. Get in there. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm gonna have Alex on here again. Okay. There's a lot. He's got a lot going on, and we just kind of rushed it at the beginning. But rewatch this because he had a lot of good things to say about the ATR, about using it for exits only. Okay. He talked about the psychology of trading options and following your own rules. Okay. That is huge. Follow your own rules. That's how you're going to get confident as a trader. That's how you're going to get confident in your system. And he also talked about trading lottos. Okay. Once you get that confidence up, you know what we're doing. And Rob starts talking about cheapo options Friday. All right. I've seen this on the episode with Alex Options. I know how to get in on this. I know how to work it. Okay. Thank you so much for everybody in the chat. So many good things in here. Watch for Rob's weekend vid. Should be coming out. If not today, it will be coming out tomorrow. It is going to be awesome. 60 minutes is not enough, Sepia Group. But 60 minutes is what we got. And we are going to squeeze as much stuff into that 60 minutes as we can. Thank you so much for everyone being here. Thank you for everybody in the chat. This was fun. This is the Strat Soldier with the weekend shift. And I am the Strat Soldier. Have a great weekend. Peace.